my God.
That's not enough. You have to create, and it has to be better than what you were disrupting. That's a lot to do with an optimistic attitude after what we've been through. So, get ready.
The false narratives that they were when they took the action. But I know what I would do today, and that would be to speak out. Because the truth is all that matters going forward. And to close the past based on false, accepted history and not forgive to forget. And there's some people that really need to hear that. You know, you can't demand forgiveness. We offer forgiveness. But it's kind of wrong to demand it without stopping what you're doing, first of all. And best case, admitting it, saying you're sorry, and optional, you try to fix it. But like, this demanding forgiveness or denying it doesn't happen are the things that make it an agenda that is not worthy of the future. Leave it there. I could get angry. I have that ability still. I do forgive almost all of them that have been involved in along the way. And because it serves no good. I don't know exactly their intents at every step of the way. And it's too much. It's just too much. So if you don't forgive, we can't always forget, but you're gone. And that's how we forget. And if you can't ask and admit, and it's too dark to even swallow yourself, then that tells you everything you need to know about what to do next. And it's not going to matter what I say. You don't believe in that. You don't believe in the process I just described. Apparently, you're only starting to believe in karma, which I don't understand why you wouldn't believe in if you practice this voodoo crap that I hear about. And magic. That seems inconsistent to me, like that you get to draw the lines around what exists and what doesn't exist just to fit your agenda. It doesn't work that way for, I mean, maybe it does. It doesn't seem to be working that way. I won't go so far to say as you can't talk evil into existence to have it your way, even if you're evil and cruel. And don't want forgiveness, apparently, from even whatever you believe in. But you're gone then. You're not in the story anymore. You need to move on and go have your peace somehow. Because you're not doing it still, taking action against people still, holding on to agendas that have failed already and proven failed already. You're doing something else that's more productive. And you're doing it away from the people that you fucked with. This next bit is just about going with the flow. I went out of my way to try to de-escalate and forgive along the way when I shouldn't have, probably even. But the reaction was part of their agenda. If you understand it, you probably understand it. Like if somebody's attacking you and they expect something so that something else happens, and that becomes another situation or gets their outcome. Taking the high road, it's not what I'm saying. Okay? It's not always the high road that will get you there. Not in this world. We're going to that world. in this world, the high road will not always get you there, unfortunately. And I think, well, it's lovely to say that it will. You need to think that way, but if you see it, you'll know it. They might have even, the thou art holier than thou thing is a thing. And you might be put in front of people that will judge, and then presented in a situation just to capture like a negative reaction. And I'm not saying, go low with it. Don't go to their level. But you might have to go one rung down from where you usually are and where you want to be. And you have to be smart about it, because you cannot lower yourself to their level. You cannot lower yourself to their level, or we will never get out of here. And this goes with temperance, and this goes with, any of the low vibe feelings of anger, envy, hate, all that. If you have to go into one of those modes for something, like if it's just you're triggered, or the situation warrants it, it's an old pattern, or it's frankly, it's somebody that needs to be called out. Go there and get out as quick as you can. Go there and get out as quick as you can. No one's perfect. But we aren't out here creating agendas to kill people over money. Okay, that's over the line. Trafficking people is over the line. Giving people drugs so that their inhibitions or their judgment or their decision making is out of whack, and they can't make an informed consent, or free will is interrupted, that is dark, and it is not okay. Going with the flow. So imagine, a graph that's just, they have that whammy bar on it when you're watching, I don't remember what show it was, but like when the singer starts singing, and if they like it, the audience starts reacting with the whammy bar to the right and the left when they don't like it or whatever. Just imagine your life is like that. And you need to stay above 51%. Okay, let's start with that. Which means you're always more optimistic than pessimistic. You're always more light than dark. You're always trying to do more good than bad, etc. And then start raising it. Start removing people that are pulling your whammy bar down for you. Because if they don't change, they're not coming. Like, this time is invite only, and they didn't get the invite because they didn't invite themselves. They didn't get invited because they didn't invite themselves. They didn't do the work. They acted like a crook. That's not invited. They didn't get an invite because they didn't invite themselves. They saw you were going. They saw your invitation that you got, and maybe they asked about it even. And maybe you told them about it. There was no process. It was just be decent, be kind, be human. We all get to judge, but it's for ourselves. And it's against our higher self. And some people are more in tune with their higher self and listen to their higher self more. They give their higher self more time to let it sink in or ruminate, and others are gaslit by their higher self. Imagine just that cliche of like the angel and the devil sitting on each shoulder, and you can listen to one or the other, and we listen to both. How hard is the tug of war that's going on? It's not, do you just have the angel on your shoulder and not the devil on the other side? That's not what this is. This is about how strong are you, and how hard does one have to pull the rope to get you to go the other way? and on some of the situations I already mentioned with alcohol and drug abuse, or intoxication of somebody as an agenda. Let's like call it intox as a service, you know? Because there's a pattern, there's a book on this, there's a sick practice that goes with many groups with this. There's an island about this, okay? So when you feel the tug, how strong is it? And how long do you have to kind of like let it tug back and forth before you can ultimately get to movement forward or a decision or whatever the thing is? Because it becomes very clear after you've been presented with three times, right? It's threes. If you don't have it by the third time, it's going to be really hard. The third time something presents, it's going to be harder on the fourth. And some people, by the way, are like, this has happened already. And I'm pretty sure 1, 2, yep. Okay, this person's stuck. This person's stuck. They don't see it, they don't feel it, something's like keeping them in it, there's pressure, there's other influences, there's something about this, you know, like this is not what it is, okay? It's not. Going with the flow though is recognizing these loops, both your own and others. Because you have to first break your loops, and then you have to be able to identify trap loops, or what they call it, trauma bonding or codependence, or honestly, for some people, it's just their life, the way they've set it up, the way I'm not going to say their choices, because that's not fair always, and it has a little bit of judgment to it. But it's their reality, and even saying like it's their choice now to reject it or keep going with it is kind of unfair and judgy, which is I completely avoid, because some don't realize it, some don't know how to get out, some don't have the resources to get out, some don't have the support to get out, some don't have anywhere to go to get out. And some have been fed a load of shit about the ways to not do it that aren't going to work to their best and highest. And they don't want to figure it out because it sounded good and they've signed up for it. Some of them have signed up for it and doubled down on it, tripled down on it. At every step of the turn, you saw the signs that it wasn't going your way, and you decided, oh, just one more day. The breaking point, which can be a fall, or a decision, or an interruption, will come at some point. So you might as well start planning for it. You might as well go with the flow of the shit that you have at the moment while you're planning something better. Because if you can't see the shore, as Mike Flynn said, a war story where he just recently said in his movie, you know, I could see the shore and I started swimming. That's the point. If you don't know where you want to go, if you don't see it, if you can't imagine it, if you can't deserve it, if you can't use your voodoo to talk it into existence in a positive way, that doesn't put it at the expense of somebody else, that doesn't interrupt somebody else's experience, it's not going to happen. You are your own savior, and that might be just showing up and asking for help somewhere, but you are the first person in that situation. Go with the flow until you know what you want to do. There's no one size fits all. You'll know when you fall. hopefully someone will catch you that actually gives a shit. And I understand if it's not. And I understand if you can't trust that it will be what happens, right? We don't know what we're capable of until the situation presents. But it's coming.
There are churches everywhere. There are just churches in this whole country as a church. And then there's one in the train station too. Can't we get extra Johns?